Welcome to Foundations of Emo, hosted by Claire and Dani. Each episode we take one of our favourite bands and dive deep into their history and origins, reminiscing on our own emo roots along the way.
Had to look away there because I was about to laugh.
I know, what is it that I can't do it anymore?
I think it's because we put on a phone voice when we say it.
My professional voice.
So professional. Also, when I looked away there, I just thought, I'm glad my mom died. A book by Jeanette McCurdy.
Yeah. I haven't started reading it yet, but Indy was like looking at it, so I told her what it was called because obviously she can't read, and she kind of looked concerned, and then she thought about it for a minute, and then she said, oh, probably because she can do whatever she wants now. So she may kill me off. If there's no future episodes, you know what happened.
We know why. If I find you dead in mysterious circumstances, I know who to go to.
Yes, it was definitely the 4-year-old.
How are you?
Good.
I was trying to think, have we not seen each other since we re-recorded the last one?
No, we haven't.
That's terrible.
Feels like ages.
Yeah, it was ages.
But I was away last weekend. Well, I wasn't away.
Oh, a shocker. Johnny was away. Let me just throw that in there.
But I felt, because I was actually thinking about it today. I was like, I haven't seen you in ages. And I was like, why not? And I was like, oh yeah. So the whole of last weekend in Bangor, because I went up to get a tattoo. Shout out to my cool emo tattoo that I have now.
You're a cool emo tattoo artist?
Yes, Kat is very cool. Go to Cat Hardy in Bangor if you fancy a trip. It's actually a really nice place.
It looked really nice.
There's loads of street art. There's the sea. There was lovely views. Like,
I think it's just the name Bangor. It doesn't exactly allude to something really pretty.
It's not very exotic.
No.
But yeah, really nice place. Really enjoyed it. Got a tattoo. And then, like, I literally left on Saturday morning and came home Sunday night and went straight back to work. So it's been a week.
It's been a week, guys. It's been a week.
But the best part of the whole entire journey was that Friday, Fall Out Boy's new album came out.
Yes. Love it.
Thoughts?
I love it.
I can't explain how much I love it. It's basically all I've listened to since it came out.
It's just really hit or met my expectations completely.
Yeah. I feel like I could write a whole thesis about it. Like, if I start getting into it, this will be the whole episode. It'll just be me dissecting every single song. They're back to, like, being Fall Out Boy, I think.
Yeah. One of my friends said she doesn't like how theatrical they're going, which I understood.
Has she not heard Folly Do?
I mean, she probably has, but I was like, I'm just glad it's not. What was the last one? Mania,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that, man. But I quite like how theatrical they're going. At least it's not about ships.
Yeah, no, I did. There were some bits in it that I was like, ooh, this is very Folly Do. This is very theatrical.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it. Can't stop listening to Hold Me Like a Grudge, Fake Out. Really like I Am My Own Muse. And I also like really got into So Much for Stardust. It's so epic.
I got really confused with the pink seashell.
Oh, Ethan Hawke.
Like, yeah, I was like, what is going on? Also, I don't understand what the whole seashell thing was. Do you remember when they sent them out to all their matesos?
Yeah.
Is that anything?
I think it's just like to do with that one song that's not even a song. It's just like a talking little piece. It's the whole thing is like thrown back to like the 80s 90s movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's all related to that, because even the video, have you seen the video? Oh, you have seen the video.
Yeah,
Hold Me Like a Grudge.
So good.
I came home from drinking on Friday night, like really drunk, and I was like, Fall Out Boy have a new video. And I watched it the next morning. I was like, I don't remember it, but I know it was good. And I was right.
Love how Pete takes the whole, like, he's always the main character. And yeah, I know, yeah. And Joe was in it.
Yes, he was in it. I also did like the end part where Pete's on the phone to his mom, and he's like, what do you think of the new song? And she's like, I like the old stuff. Yeah. I just like bands that can make fun of themselves.
Yeah. Any other new music, any other gigs that we're going to that we've booked?
Paramore is next.
Yes, Paramore is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I
wish I was excited.
We will be.
We'll have a good time.
We'll have to start listening to them again.
Yeah. About that.
Which was harder to listen to, Paramore or Taking Back Sunday?
Taking Back Sunday. Sorry. Spoiler alert for the episode.
No, Dani.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Okay. That's fine. We just don't have to be friends anymore.
We'll get into it.
Okay, let's start the episode, shall we?
Yes, this episode is one of the original emo bands who I love, still love, even if you don't. It is Taking Back Sunday. So, Taking Back Sunday, they were formed in New York in 1999.
Wow.
When I was only 9 years old.
Yeah.
By two guitarists, Eddie Reyes and Jesse Lacey. So, does Jesse Lacey sound familiar?
Yes. Wait, did
Can
you
think
tell
of
me
more?
this?
No, I didn't. That's why I was like, do you know anything about Take Back Sunday?
No.
Okay. So it was Eddie Reyes and Jesse Lacey, and then John Nolan joined the band as a guitarist. So Jesse moved to playing bass. They also had a vocalist, Antonio Longo,
Ooh.
and a drummer, Stephen DeJoseph.
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 What a name.
Probably completely butchering that. It's probably like DeJoseph or something, but anyway.
No, now my new life goal is to marry someone whose surname is DeJoseph. Denny DeJoseph. I like it.
However, John Nolan and Jesse Lacey had a now infamous falling out after John apparently romanced Jesse's girlfriend.
Ooh, shit, bro.
This led to Jesse leaving the band and forming Brand New a year later.
Oh, I had Brand New in my head. I just didn't say it.
So we'll go back to that.
Okay.
Enter Adam Lazzara. Adam went to a show where his friend was filling in the bassist spot because Jesse had left in the first reincarnation of Taking Back Sunday. And then after the show, Adam ended up hanging out with them all, and at the time he was in another band, but he asked Eddie if he could try out to be the bassist. So Eddie agreed, and a while later Adam went to New York and tried out, and the band liked him and offered him the job on the spot. So Adam moved to New York and has been in the band since.
I feel like this is a recurring theme where band members try out for different roles and then end up in like completely different
in the
roles.
role that's in it. Yeah. So like that, originally he just played bass, but after the recording of their first EP, their singer Antonio Longo quit. So it was decided Adam and John would take over the vocals. Eddie stated that the main reason for Antonio Longo quitting was his lack of ability as a singer and as a lyricist.
Imagine getting kicked out of a band and saying that about you.
So harsh.
That's why, despite my good intentions,
It was Dani's lack of ability as a singer and a lyricist.
Don't blame you.
Around this time, the drummer, Stephen DeJoseph, also left due to personal issues and was replaced by their current drummer, Mark O'Connell. They also needed another bassist, seeing as Adam had switched roles, so their current bassist, Sean Cooper, joined at this time. So Adam has stated in many interviews that he never expected to be the lead singer in a band, and he found it hard at first with nothing to hide behind, which I never really thought of, but he said for the first few shows he literally was just standing around kind of facing the drummer because he didn't know what else to do. But I think when you think of Adam Lazzara now, you just think of him being a showman and swinging the mic around the place, so it's so weird to think of him being like, I'm just gonna turn my back to you guys now.
So is it basically like an entire new lineup from how they started?
Yes, but there's much more to come.
Oh, great.
We all know I love the bands who change their lineups. I told Dani next time I'm going to do a solo artist so that there can't be any lineup changes. So this lineup of Taking Back Sunday released a 5-track demo in 2001 and went touring for a year, during which they received a few offers from labels, but they all sort of fell through. Eventually, a friend passed their demo on to Victory Records. Do you remember Victory Records?
Yes.
Yes. Who asked
We went to the Victory Records tour in 2005.
We did. And also, sidetrack, Victory Records have been sued so many times by like literally every band that was on the label.
Why?
Apparently there's loads of things where their contracts weren't being fulfilled and everything, or they like held back the royalties and stuff like that. And I was like, that's sad. I really like Victory Records. Yeah. Or at least the bands on it. Anyway, side note. So a friend passed their demo on to Victory Records, who asked to see a live performance, and following that they were offered a contract. Nice. Which again I feel like is a theme here.
Yeah.
Like it just seems to happen. Well, it seems easy, but maybe it wasn't easy at the time. So their lawyer apparently advised them not to sign the contract, but at the time the band were so excited someone was interested in them, they signed it anyway.
Of course. Imagine they're like, here's a record label. You'd be like, sure thing.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't care what it says. So their first album released through Victory Records was Tell All Your Friends.
Yes.
The band thought they were super clever with the name because they literally were hoping people would hear it and tell all their friends. Which, to be fair, smart move.
I like that.
The album took 2 weeks to record, and while recording, all the members travelled back and forth from Long Island to Jersey City as they all had day jobs and had to request time off to make the record.
Aww.
Which is so cute. The band have stated that some of the final mixes are not what they wanted them to sound like, as the studio had altered and manipulated some of the songs. The most noticeable being the piano intro to the Blue Channel being sped up to match the tempo of the rest of the song, which is 4 times faster. But they didn't have the budget to go back and record it again the way they wanted. So they just had to release it as it was. So like most albums these days, it received mixed reviews, with some saying it stood out among their emo peers, in quotation marks, and others saying it was lost amongst a music scene that was growing rapidly. Despite this, the album is Victory Records' longest running release on the Billboard Heatseekers album chart at 68 weeks. 10 years after its release, a live acoustic version, boo, of it was released, recorded during their anniversary tour for this record. It's been included in a lot of the best emo album lists by magazines like Alternative Press and Rolling Stone.
I love that album, to be fair. I love it. So
I love
good.
it so much. And it has one of my favourite songs of all time.
Is that a spoiler for like your song on repeat?
Maybe.
Okay, we'll discuss later.
But it's my favourite song. So many memories of all these songs. Like There's No I in Team and Timberwolves at New Jersey.
Great song.
And There's No I in Team is actually written about Jessie Lacey. I know.
Bitch!
I know. And around this time, which was about 2003, tensions started rising in the band. So in various interviews over the years, John and Sean state that the band just weren't getting along and they were constantly fighting and didn't feel like friends anymore. And rumours at the time were that Adam apparently was having a hard time controlling his alcohol consumption and cheated on John's sister Michelle.
Ooh.
Yeah, which caused a fallout between them.
A Fallout Boy? Sorry.
Although Adam apologised, the apology was thought to be insincere and John and Sean left the band 2 days later, citing exhaustion, which Adam reiterated and said neither of them wanted to be in the band without the other. Which is kind of cute.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if someone cheated on my friend or my sister, I'd be like really annoyed, but would I give up my whole band for it? I don't know.
Also, is it a bit hypocritical considering the whole thing started off with John romancing Jessie Lacey's girlfriend?
Yeah.
And now he's mad at Adam for cheating on his sister. I'm just saying. Who knows? John did admit in later years that they felt they actually weren't getting enough credit for the band's success, and he felt that he and Adam had grown apart as friends.
Oh.
Which again is the whole lead singers always get all the attention. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Bitch. Love each other, really. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. John and his sister Michelle then formed a band together called Stray Light Run, which I've never heard. And I didn't bother.
Good luck to them.
Listening. Good luck to you, John. Following the departure of John and Sean, the band cancelled their upcoming UK shows in summer of 2003 while they decided what to do next. So they managed to replace John with the guitarist Fred Mascherino, and Sean was replaced by Matt Rubano, and they co-headlined a tour with this lineup in November of the same year. And an interesting fact about Matt Rubano, he made his start of his career playing on the Lauryn Hill album. What's that album called? The Evolution of Lauryn Hill? Or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. He was the bassist on that.
That's a weird one.
Random.
It's a jump in genres, that's for sure.
And then actually, if you look him up on Instagram, he's also apparently a comedian. He's an actor.
What can't he do?
Exactly, Matt. What can you not do? So immediately after this tour, they began work on their second album, which was self-financed. The first single, A Decade Under the Influence.
I was like, it's not called self-financed. Oh, dear.
Oh, no, it's not. You're right.
I'm correct.
The first single, A Decade Under the Influence, was released in June 2004, and the album Where You Want to Be, that would be the album title, was released soon after in July. And Victory Records used a street team, which we mentioned in an earlier episode. Rather than spending money on marketing and whatever they did, it worked. This album debuted at number 3 in the Billboard 200 albums chart and is Victory Records' highest chart peak for an album. It's a banger.
Because it's such a good album.
A banger
It
from
sold
start
itself.
to finish. It is just so good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Really enjoyed re-listening to it.
All the lyrics in it. It has one of my favourite lyrics of all time, which is, it's never bad enough to just leave or give up, but it's never good enough to feel right. I'm like, yes, I feel that in my soul. That is my daily life.
Deep
Do I
shit,
love
bro.
my job or do I hate it? I can't tell, but it's never bad enough to just leave or give up. But I love this album so much. Go back and listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
Really.
I feel like every time I put it on, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
just yes.
And I'll put on a song and I'll be like, oh yeah, banger. The next one comes on and I'm like, oh yeah, banger. And a fun fact, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 directed the music video for this photograph as proof. Can't say I've ever seen it. All I know is Tom DeLonge directed it.
Probably has aliens in it, so.
So Take Back Sunday opened for Blink-182 on their North American tour in 2004. They spent much of that year and the beginning of 2005 touring with bands such as Jimmy Eat World. And in June 2005, it was announced they had signed with the major label Warner Brothers Records. So the song Error Operator was the first song to be released from their upcoming album, which was added to the video game and the film soundtrack for the Fantastic Four, which I didn't know. Also, I feel like they're banging out these albums in quick succession.
Yeah.
Like 2003, 2004, 2005. And I don't remember them in real time coming out that fast. Do you know, I felt like there was a gap. I felt like between Where You Want to Be and Louder Now, it felt like there was a massive gap.
Yeah, because Sink Into Me, is that on Louder Now?
No.
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
We are good at things. I remember hearing that single Sink Into Me and being like, oh, Take 'Em Back Sunday have new music, but it felt like years since their last music.
Yeah.
But
I
it
think
wasn't.
that's their later album. I could be wrong.
Maybe one later.
So for this third album, Eric Valentine was hired as a producer, and I've definitely heard of Eric Valentine.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
He has produced albums for artists such as Queens of the Stone Age and Smash Mouth, and Taking Back Sunday had actually tried to get him on board for Where You Want to Be, but they couldn't. So they stated for this album they wanted to take a more rock-orientated approach, which again I feel is bands hating the emo label and being like, no man, we're going to be more rock. I'm like, just own it. You're emo and we love it, it's fine. So the album's title, Louder Now, was revealed in February 2006, and the record was released in April of the same year. Adam was quoted saying that their fans seemed to feel as if their live shows had more energy than their recordings, so they wanted Louder Now to bring more of that energy across. The move to a mainstream label ultimately meant the band received more mainstream exposure, and they appeared on late-night American talk shows such as Jimmy Kimmel and Conan O'Brien. For the
That's weird. I couldn't imagine like Conan O'Brien being like, here's Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah, or like,
although to be fair, I've never watched the show really.
No,
so.
but I feel like I just feel like
it's like would Taking Back Sunday be on the Late Late Show?
Or I'm totally holding up thinking, and now it's one of their upcoming albums, Taking Back Sunday.
Jesus.
Maybe they'll replace Ryan Tuberty as
the host. Yeah, they should.
Very good. We should replace Ryan Tuberty as that.
100%. I'm gonna write to RTE.
RTE.
Where's my phone?
We know you're watching this. So for the remainder of 2006 and most of 2007, the band toured and released a behind-the-scenes documentary called Louder Now, Part 1 and Part 2. And Victory Records then released a record called Notes from the Past, which is basically a compilation CD that contained B-sides. Which again, why? Why? Why
it's
we
that
gotta
thing
do that?
again. And it's like they try to entice you being like, there's a song you've never heard before. It's like, yes, but I'm not buying a whole CD for a song I haven't heard before or two. Like
B-sides. But anyway. No. So in October of 2007, Fred Mascherino left the band because he wanted to focus on a solo album. He called himself The Colour Fred or something.
Oh. Why do I like that so much?
Though in later interviews, he also admitted there was arguments between the band with no one agreeing on who should write the songs, and ultimately he just felt it was largely unproductive. He also made a comment about how the band was more into cooking food than making music, which is really harsh. And then
but it kind of makes me curious about what life's like on tour with them.
Yeah,
like
what
everyone's
kind of
cooking.
food are you cooking?
What kind of food?
Also, that sounds great to me.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm joining the band, guys. No Fred. No Fred. Hey, because he left.
You are full of the puns this evening.
It's okay. I want to put myself down.
You've been storing them all up for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
The dad
now
jokes
I'm
are coming
funny.
out. So, Taking Back Sunday then apparently wrote the song Capital M.E. about his departure, which has some scathing lyrics such as, "You slither away like the snake that you are."
Wow.
Which is so harsh. I'm like, Adam, you burning these men here. But anyway, maybe he deserved it, I don't know. A year later, the band revealed to Rolling Stone magazine that their fourth album would be called New Again. They also made some rather bold statements, such as the song Lonely Lonely being, quote, relentless, 2.5 minutes of punching you in the face, unquote.
That's, okay.
Which I just feel is really like, have you heard that song? It's really not, I don't know, punchy.
Well, I did listen to the album, but nothing stood out as punching me in the face, apart from, you know.
And this album also has the first bass solos in any Taking Back Sunday song in the song Carpathia. So this song then was subsequently the first song released from the album December 2008, followed by a number of other releases such as a live version of Catholic Knees and then 2 more singles. They also had a period of time where every Monday they released another track from the album on their MySpace and labelled it New Music Monday.
Yeah, so this is the album. I had to check which album this was because they all, after Louder Now, they all blur together.
This has Sink Into Me on it, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, yeah, sorry. This has Sink Into Me on it, which is the only good song. The rest of it, I feel like it got very indie It sounds very indie, which is probably like the style at the time.
All I can think of is Indie, your daughter. I'm like,
It's very her. No, it's very like that indie scene that was popular.
however,
Like, it doesn't sound like the Strokes, but like that kind of...
yeah, I know what you mean.
Genre.
Strokes, there's a band I haven't thought of in a while. But when you said you were like struggling to listen to it, I was like, oh no, I'm going to really struggle to listen to it. And I listened to it and I was like, okay, not like, you know, wowed by it or anything, but actually I listened to it a few more times. I do think some of the songs are quite catchy.
No. I listened to it once and I was like, it just doesn't sound like them. It sounds like they've just changed genre and it's not for me, and meh.
Yeah,
Just
except
meh.
it was more like, this makes me want to stab myself in the eyeballs. Do I have to keep listening?
No, that was another album. It wasn't this one.
Okay.
This one I didn't enjoy, but I persevered.
I actually couldn't remember this album. I kind of forgot it existed, to be honest. But a fact I did not know, despite, I think, being at their show, was that their guitarist, Matt Fazzi, who had replaced Mascherino, fractured his foot in Dublin while the band were touring to promote this album. But it didn't stop the tour and they continued on to Belfast and finished in the UK.
Fair play.
I know. And then, in August 2009, the band released, can you guess, a live album.
Oh, of course.
Why? No need. No one wants to hear it. I've never listened to it, but it's a live recording of their show at the Bamboozle, where they played in May 2009.
Great. Good for them.
So I'm about to lose track here all over again, but in 2010, guess what happened?
Someone left the band.
Yes, 2 members left the band.
Okay.
Matthew Fazzi and Matt Rubano, who weren't part of the original lineup, left. So following this then, there was some cryptic posts from the band which seemed to be hinting at a return to the Tell All Your Friends lineup.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. So I listened to the Lead Singer Syndrome podcast episode with Adam Lazara, where he discussed how the band were touring. They all kind of realised that it just wasn't working. So then Mark O'Connell was still in touch with John Nolan and suggested Adam reach out. So that's what Adam did. And John Nolan and Sean Cooper, the two who were like, if you're leaving, I'm leaving, rejoined, and we have gone full circle and we're back to the first lineup.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So in an interview afterwards as well, Adam said that Matthew Fazzi and Matt Rubana weren't fired as such, just let go.
You weren't fired from your job, Claire. You were let
It
go.
was just so awkward. And they said that Taking Back Sunday just didn't feel like Taking Back Sunday without the original members, which again, super harsh. Here's these band members who have made all these albums with you, played all these tours, and you're like, yeah, but you're not the original guys.
It feels to me like you're with a guy and suddenly he breaks up with you out of the blue and is back with his ex, and you're like, that's weird that happened. I feel like that started before we broke up, or was the reason for the breakup.
Yes, and like all through the relationship he was like bitching about the ex, being like never gonna go there again.
You're so much better than her.
Yeah. What a good metaphor. So that was 2010. So the following year the band started releasing singles from their upcoming self-titled album, which was again produced by Eric Valentine. So this album then was released in June 2011. Again, so fast. It was written in a studio in El Paso in Texas, El Paso being the name of the first song on the album. And they wrote the album fairly quickly, with Mark pointing out what normally would have taken them 6 months to do was now only taking them a week, as they've all improved as musicians. Or they just rushed it and it really wasn't that good.
Yeah, because I really don't like this album. Like, the last album I wasn't feeling. This one I felt was even worse. Like, I really struggled with it.
I was the opposite. I preferred this album. I thought there was some quite catchy ones on this. So apparently they all contributed much more to the writing process and felt the end result was more unique and mature than their previous albums.
Yeah, they should go back to immature emos. That's what I like.
Yeah. I did like the immature emo-ness, to be fair. So a self-titled album also seemed appropriate with them returning to their original lineup. It's been compared to the sound for Tell All Your Friends.
No.
I didn't get that.
Just no.
No.
Absolutely not.
But people were praising the return of the like call and response vocals between John and Adam. But that's probably the only thing that's similar to...
That's what I was thinking about, like, why I didn't like their later albums after, like, Tell All Your Friends and the other one.
You again?
No.
Louder now.
No.
This one.
Where you want to be. No,
Oh, right.
Fuck's sake. Like, the first 2 albums, they had so many, like, the back and forth of the vocals and really catchy riffs. That's what made them. That, to me, is Taking Back Sunday. The singing back and forth to each other and, like, a really cool guitar riff.
Yeah.
And they just lost that, I feel, in the later albums. Like, it was just gone. they stopped doing the back and forth vocals and trying to get out of the emo genre, and it just doesn't work, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's funny because Paramore, My Chemical Romance, Take Back Sunday, they all seem to just run from the emo label and be like, no, that's not what we are. But it's like, but that's what made you so successful.
It's funny, like me and Kat were talking about it when she was tattooing me, that like emo was so cool because we liked all the same bands back in the day, and then it went through a phase of being deeply uncool, and now it's back being cool again, but that we probably will see it go back to being uncool again.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And there was
these
also
things always come back around.
Full circle. There was also that whole period of time where it was like, you know, kids all want to kill themselves. You're all so dark and depressing. It's probably not thought of as being very mature either.
Yeah.
I mean, Take Back Sunday are in their late 40s at this stage. So they probably can't sing about, like, you know, cheating on Jessie Lacey's girlfriend and all, but still.
Lipstick on collars.
Oh, that's another thing about their lyrics. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like they were always, like, really long sentences.
Yeah.
They weren't, like, short and snappy. They were always just these, and they didn't, like, rhyme as such. It was just like he wrote a novel and said it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So 2012 then was the 10-year anniversary of Tell All Your Friends, so the band embarked on an anniversary tour where they played the album in full, which I would have loved
Oh, wow.
to have been at. How many times have you seen them?
Once.
Only once?
I only saw them in 2019.
Oh.
That's the only time I've ever seen them.
You've seen them both. Did you not go to Taste of Chaos tour?
I did.
With Senses Fail and I'm going to say Under Oath?
Okay, then I did see them, but I didn't know them or like them at the time, so it didn't mean anything to me.
Were Anti-Flag on that tour? I feel like that was a great tour.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And then I saw them in Whelan's. I don't know when that was.
Well, I saw them in Whelan's in 2019.
Oh yeah, it must have been that one. And then I
How
saw
were you
them
there and we didn't see each other?
I don't know, because Whelan's not exactly huge. They also played Vicar Street, and I saw your sister there,
Oh.
who I hadn't seen in so many years, and I was like, hey! Random. So I think I've seen them 3 times. I'd go see them again though.
Yeah, no, I definitely would, especially if they're playing older stuff.
But just not if they
If
play
they could
anything.
tell me that they're going to play the older stuff, I'll go.
In 2013, they began working on what would be their 6th album and revealed that they had left Warner Brothers and had signed to Hopeless Records. So they debuted some songs from it throughout the year during their live performances. And actually, during this time, Adam's son was born prematurely, so he left. So Spencer Chamberlain from Under Oath filled in on the vocals.
Okay, I totally missed that part of history.
Yeah, but I think, again, it's that so cute thing where they're like, oh, you need a band member, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's so cute. They're all matesos. So they played a few shows with a violinist as well, who then features on that album.
This is the album, I had to turn it off. Like, I was listening to it on the bus. I had struggled through the previous 2, did not enjoy any minute of them. Put this on and I was like, I just can't do it. Like, I was halfway through the first song. I was like, I hate this. Skipped the second one. Got a few minutes or a few like seconds into that, was like, nope. Went to the third song, was like, no, don't like the sound of this either, and I just turned it off. I was like, I just can't put myself through another album that I really don't like.
Is Flicker Fade on this one? Or Flicker Flicker Fade? Because that's a really good song. Flicker Flicker Fade. Yeah. This album is called Happiness Is, and it was their 6th album released in March 2014. It was successful, debuting within the top 5 on the Australian and UK Billboard charts and at number 10 in the US Billboard Top 20. And the title Happiness Is apparently a blanket statement which represented where the band was at the time. It's kind of cute. They're all so happy.
Didn't make me happy.
However, a few years later, the band said in an interview they didn't actually feel like this album was as much of a, quote, complete thought, unquote, as the others. And there was no song on it they would describe as quintessential Taking Back Sunday.
Fair.
Which is fair. I do agree.
Very, very fair.
I definitely prefer this one though to the self-titled one.
They all just blur together now as like music I don't like, so
I listened to this more than once where it's a self-titled one. I was like, oh, okay, I'm skipping past that one. I feel like all self-titled albums aren't great. Paramore, that was crap.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's better than
na 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 na.
Oh gosh, someone's gonna burn down the podcast headquarters.
Oh my god, I can't wait to hear that song live.
Can we be really drunk?
I'm just imagining us being absolutely twisted going, you can't see us right now, but for some reason the T-Rex arms are
but you can see it if you're going to be at the gig.
Cute Dani and Claire standing there looking perfectly polite and not in any way drunk and messy. The remainder of 2014 and 2015 was spent touring with bands such as Let Live and The Used, and then in 2016 came Tidal Wave, the worst album of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Again, maybe it's the water theme. Just don't do an album about chips.
Yeah.
It never works. On its release, it charted lower than the previous Happiness Is, but it still didn't do too terribly. When I listened to this first, I was so confused. I put it on and I actually had to stop and go check, was it a cover album of like punk songs? I was like, what is this? It doesn't sound anything like Taking Back Sunday. So Adam was quoted as saying this album was a bit of a departure.
They always say that.
Couldn't be more true. Because I was into some punk bands when I was younger. I think maybe I tried to be, because it was sort of at that time where bands were trying to be like political with Green Day and Anti-Flag. Then Sum 41 did the Chuck album, and I started listening to those bands, and I also tried really hard to get into the Ramones, because my dad gave me a CD and I was like, I'm gonna like this band, but truth be told, I think I just like the idea of punk music more than the actual songs. I'm like, it's grand and I don't hate this album, but I don't think I'll ever sit there and be like, I know what I'll put on.
Trying to win the mood
Tidal Wave. And I read a critic said about this album that it was definitely written for themselves rather than the fans, and sometimes bands just need to do that and get it out of their system.
Yeah, but I just don't feel like they need to release it.
Yeah, I'm like, remember the fans, we got you to where you are now. So this album is terrible, basically. Don't bother listening to it if you haven't yet. You won't get anything out of it. And this, sadly, is the last album to feature Eddie Reyes, one of the originals.
Oh.
I know. He left the band in 2018 due to his battle with alcoholism, stating at the time that he hoped he could return at some point in the future. But then apparently he also started another band at the same time. So...
Oh no, I can't be in your band anymore. So sorry. Oh, I got a new band!
I actually read an interview where somebody asked him that. They were like, okay, so if you left, like, why did you start a new one? And he was like, no, it wasn't to do with like the band itself. It was to do with like the vibes and blah blah blah. Don't know.
This is exactly another man story of like a guy breaks up with you and it's like it's not you, it's just like I've got too much going on right now.
It's me.
I just like it's just in my life right now. I just don't think I have time for a girlfriend. And then the next week he has a girlfriend. Oh. Funny, isn't it, John? That never actually happened to me, just for the record. But
oh,
John.
This guy's name is Eddie, are we talking?
No, he was my fictional boyfriend, John. I've never dated a man called John. That's why I use that name. He was really good looking as well in my head.
I would expect nothing less.
John,
I'm loving these metaphors about the album. Poor
I really need to
Eddie
call my
Reyes.
therapist.
I hope he's not still an alcoholic.
I think he's fine. He's got a new band now.
He didn't really miss out on much though, because the next release was a compilation album again to celebrate their 20th anniversary. 20th.
And what did they call it, Claire?
Have the fucking clue. What did they call it?
20.
How original. That's almost as bad as the self-titled one. They went on tour. They had this really cool idea, right, which I'm absolutely raging that we didn't get to see this.
Okay.
So apparently...
Is this flip a coin?
Yes!
Kat was telling me about this.
That's so cool. So if they were playing the same location 2 nights in a row, Tell All Your Friends would always be played both nights first, but then they'd use a coin toss to decide which other album they'd play in the first night out of Louder Now and Where You Want to Be. So if Tell All Your Friends and Where You Want to Be were played the first night, they'd play Tell All Your Friends and Louder Now the second night. But then you'd be raging if you had a favourite one.
You'd have to go to both if you were like a diehard fan.
Yeah. Also, how long was that show?
Yeah.
They played 2 full-length
whole
albums. Fair play to them. I don't know, can you imagine if you went to a show and they were like, we're going to play Tidal Wave and Happiness Is...
Well, the first album's only 33 minutes now, to be fair. And Where You Want to Be is 40 minutes. So that's not actually that long.
That's like a standard set, really, then. Yeah. We say, as we've so much experience with standards.
Well, Louder Now's an hour, so you'd be actually probably rooting for that one.
So as of 2020, the band have also left Hopeless Records and are currently not on any label, as far as I know. Okay.
But they released, well, on Spotify there in 2022, they have another anniversary album.
Well, who was that released by?
Oh, let's see. They have Tell All Your Friends 20th Anniversary Edition.
Oh.
That came out in 2022.
What's the difference? Is it just like remasters?
Craft Recordings, distributed by Concord.
Maybe this is the version of Tell All Your Friends they wanted.
Oh, maybe. Oh, look, they've got demos on it. They have the Blue Channel demo, so I wonder.
Again, demos. I just don't want to hear it. Like, there's a reason it's a demo.
But maybe that has the like slow piano bit.
Oh, yeah. I could have listened to that before I did this, but I did not. So that is their history and their discography. How do you say that word?
Discography.
Ah, yes. From start to finish, which is your favourite album?
I think in
Where You Want to Be?
Yeah, I think between the two of them. I really like Tell All Your Friends, but I think if I have to choose, it would be Where You Want to Be.
Yeah, Where You Want to Be is just a classic. And every time I hear it and see that album cover, I just think of Taking Back Sunday.
They released a single last year with Steve Aoki.
Huh.
Just us two.
That sounds terrible. Oh, yes, they had that song with Charlotte Sands. Is that it?
No idea.
So then I was obviously being like, our favourite part, the controversy, or the controversy, as some people like to call it. But obviously when you look it up, the whole big thing is about Take Back Sunday, brand new.
Okay.
So there was lots of mixed things because they went on tour with them 2 years after they were formed, so they kind of hated each other that much. But then there was a more recent interview where I think the interviewer obviously asked him about it, and Adam, who had nothing to do with the feud in the first place because he wasn't even in the band when Jesse was in the band, was literally like, he's just a dick. Like, Jesse Lacey is just a dick. He's just not a good guy. Like, harsh.
That is really harsh. That is like just being like someone is just not a good person. Like that is really a harsh thing to say.
Yeah, and then he kind of tried to backtrack and was like, I don't know, maybe there's people out there who will say I'm not a good person. It's like, okay.
Well, one of you obviously isn't a good person.
But your man Jesse Lacey apparently is notoriously quiet when it comes to media, and he doesn't do many interviews and keeps it all like, you know, his personal life personal. So if he does,
was he not outed in Me Too
for being a pervert? Yeah, I felt like that was a thing.
It was definitely someone from Brand New.
Could have been him. Because I actually thought that when I was reading it. It's one of these Ollie Sykes things. I was like, is he not a dick?
I have it in my head he's a dick. I don't know why.
So whether that's still going on or not, I don't know. But when you think about it, they're 47 years of age now, so surely they don't really care. But imagine being that girlfriend who like basically created Taking Back Sunday and Brand New.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder what she looks like.
She must have been a looker, but now she's 47.
Interestingly enough, Adam and John live down the road from each other now.
I thought you were going to say live down the road from you for some reason. I was like, what?
Ah, yes. I'm good mates
down
with
the
them.
road for me.
And then I went back and looked at Adam Lazara and his history. And now talk about spiciness here.
Okay.
Right? So he was dating a musician called Chantal Dupree, who was in a band made up of herself and her 3 siblings.
Ew.
I know, it
I
just
hate
makes,
sibling bands.
it makes me think of that what's that weird mother and son Irish?
Oh, Crystal Swing.
Yeah, that's what it's Also, that came to you way too quickly.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking me what's my favourite band.
That's next episode, guys. Spoiler alert.
Crystal Swing.
So Adam was dating this Chantal Dupree and they were engaged to be married in 2008. Also, side note, they got engaged on Valentine's Day.
Yuck. Cop out.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as Hayley Williams on her Christmas Day.
Nope.
2 months before the wedding, Chantal's dad announced that they had split and called off the wedding.
Sorry, why is her dad announcing this? His
I know,
family is
really
too close.
weird.
Was he in the band as well?
Probably.
Ugh.
But then, get this, 1 month after the split, Adam began dating a local bartender who was actually a family friend of the Duprees.
Oh.
Wait, and to make things worse, they got married 5 months later.
But do they just like keep the same slot? Well, listen, babe, I already have the wedding booked, so we might as well use it. I can't get a refund.
I'll lose the deposit. So
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. How awkward.
I just feel like there's no situation where you get into a relationship with somebody who has just broken off an engagement and decide to marry them. Because my first question is like, why are you so desperate to get married? Like, you've only just met me.
Yeah.
You've only just met me. And you were like going to marry somebody else literally last month. And now you're suddenly want to marry me? Like, that's marriage. That's not me.
Also, it still sounds so cliche. A local bartender.
The local bartender in a small town.
But they're still together and they now have 3 kids.
Okay, well,
So
at least
that's
it
nice for
lasted.
them. Yeah. And then in 2015, Adam was also arrested for driving under the influence. So I guess his problems with alcoholism were not solved at that stage. But that's where we're at. There was not really much controversy. I suppose the whole starting of the band in itself was the biggest controversy. But I love Taking Back Sunday. I just have such a special place in my heart for them.
I feel like those first two albums, like, I adore them. Like, absolutely adore them. But I think I just kind of end it there in my head.
And that is that, and I will never go back to it. Do you know what age Adam Lazar is now?
47?
Did I say that earlier?
Yeah, you've said it a couple of times.
I'm obsessed with their age. Don't know, so I feel like they won't be releasing too much music in the future.
The last two things they've done are like anniversary albums.
Terrible,
which, like, to be fair, works for me because I don't want any new music.
And then again, if he is married with 3 kids now, he can't really be writing lyrics like, you cheated on my girlfriend.
Remember when we nearly got married, but then I married the local bartender.
My dad announced it on Instagram. I feel like I know what your song to repeat is going to be.
Okay.
No, I don't. But you know what mine is.
No, guess what? What's mine?
No, I haven't a clue. You know what mine is, though.
No, I don't.
You do. We haven't mentioned it, but we have to because it's such a part of yours and mine's history.
Oh, Q without the E?
Yes!
Well, we did do a really good cover of it.
Like, we're not even joking at this stage. Like, it was a really good cover. It was acoustic, and it was just really good.
But I think that works for us when we're doing the, like, lyrics back and forth kind of thing.
That's what I was going to say. The call and response lyrics, were really good. And I can't listen to that and turn it off. If that song came on, I always have to listen to it. And I remember us being on some random night out in Fibbers years ago. I think we weren't even on night out. I think we called into Fibbers for a drink, and there was
that doesn't sound like a normal thing to do.
like on the way to somewhere else maybe, and this song came on and the two of us literally lost our minds.
I can imagine that part, alright.
So that has to be my song on repeat. I just love it. I'll never not love it. I want to get a tattoo done me.
Do. Just get a lipstick on your
hey
collar.
Kat, you out there, get me.
She would love to do more emo tattoos. My song to repeat is actually Bonus Mosh Pit
Part 2,
yeah. I don't know, like, I found it really, really hard because every song on that album is a banger, and, like, I was like, oh, I love this one, I love this one, I love this one, but that one I just kept going back to.
I can't remember which one that is. Give us a lyric there.
Just one that's like, I'm not going to remember now off the top of my head. You can't put me on the spot like that. Doesn't
Go
work.
on, sing it.
Well.
Oh yes, that one. I was between a load of songs, to be fair. Like, This Photograph is Proof, Decade Under the Influence.
Yeah, A Decade
Set
Under the
Phases
Influence
of
came on
Song.
yesterday, and I was like, oh, it's so good. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, just stick to your original.
And then I went to Louder Now because I was like, surely there's a song on this that's my song to skip. But there wasn't. This is the one I was like, oh, I actually quite like this.
Yeah, Louder Now is not bad.
2020 century.
I'm trying to think what my song, I can't remember what it's called. I have to find it.
To skip.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all of them.
It's Divine Intervention.
Is that one where it's like, truth and twisted and collide?
It's the one, I don't even know how it goes now that you put me on the spot again. But he's like just whispering. He's just like,
that's what it is.
I was like,
and then it's
what
like,
the fuck is this?
Sometimes it just gets better.
Oh, it's awful. It's a really bad song.
Oh.
Hate it.
I don't hate it that much.
Oh god, I turned it off every time I was listening to that album. So
I do
literally
know
my
what you
song
mean,
to
though.
skip.
It's definitely like you're listening to the album and you're like, this is all going well, and then that song comes on and you're like, okay, what? This is
He's
not...
just like whispering, and like the music in the background wasn't good, and he was like, I was like, fuck off.
Oh, well, my song to skip all day long is on that fucking Tidal Wave album, and it's the first song called Death Wolf, and it's just horrendous. Honestly horrendous. And I also think he tried to do some weird thing with his voice, and I'm like, just stop, like, just go back to being...
Do the call and response.
That's all we want to hear. That's all we want to hear.
That's all we need. What's the next episode going to be, Dani?
Yeah, what is the next episode going to be, Dani? Wait, hang on, we know it's Crystal Swing.
Yes, it's Crystal Swing.
Oh, I'm interested now because I've no idea what you're doing.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'm really interested in the history of Crystal Swing, because I actually don't know that much about them.
Well, I am actually. Maybe we could do a mini episode.
Wow. Let's make some Patreon content. Who wants to hear about Crystal
Hey guys,
Swing?
if you like listening to us, you can sign up to our Patreon. We have mini episodes there on Crystal Swing, Bewitched, Hanson.
Other bands that are just family members.
Have you heard? Yeah, they're all family members. Have you heard Bewitched new song
No.
called Birthday?
No.
Oh, it's terrible.
I would imagine so. I'm going to do... I find this really hard because there's so many bands that I want to do.
Yeah.
But I kind of just got in my head I'm going to do this one. So I'm just sticking with it.
I feel nervous. Yeah, go on.
You're
You're not rob one I want to do.
No, because I know which one you want to do. So I did want to do it, but I was like, no, I'll steal it.
Oh.
I'm going to do Panic at the Disco. Because I feel like it's going to be a spicy one.
Oh, you always love the spicy.
Yeah, I do. But there's so much controversy ever since I found out that everybody hates Brendan Urie. Which, like, literally, I just found out one day and had no idea.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, everybody hates him. Go to Twitter. Like, he's hated. So there's lots of, like, spicy drama, controversy. So...
That's an interesting one. And I also can't say their name without going, Panic at the Disco.
But yeah, that's going to be the next one.
For that.
I'm excited to listen to their first album.
I actually am excited. Yeah, I like their albums.
They have some good albums. It's not just the first one, but I am excited to go back and listen to it because it's been ages. Find me tap dancing around my house.
That's exciting. I'm really excited to listen to that. Also, Dani put up a poll earlier.
Yeah.
Look at her laughing to herself there now. We all know she's got multiple accounts and she just went and voted for herself.
Listen, I like to win.
Of which playlist you would prefer out of mine and Dani's?
Yeah, so basically we both got our Receiptifies from Spotify, so our most listened to songs of last month, and published them both on the Foundations of Emo Instagram and got people to vote for which list people preferred, and my list was only the new Fall Out Boy album.
I was going to say, that's not even a fucking, that's just you listening to their album, like, hello.
I did listen to it a lot, to be fair. It only came out a week ago and it's like my most listened to songs this month. But yeah, I won. LOL.
I was just really sad. I had a bit of Dayseeker on there and Fall Out Boy, and I think Take Back Sunday.
Yeah.
But then I did, on that Receiptify thing, I went and looked up my top songs, I think, or artists, or whichever. And I was like, really glad you didn't publish that one because Taylor Swift was in there somewhere.
Claire.
Patreons, if you want to listen to an episode.
So guys, if anyone is interested in hosting the podcast with me, we're looking for a new host because Claire has been let go, not fired.
So awkward. It's not you, it's me. I'm actually leaving the podcast, Dani, because I was having some like...
Oh, because you're going to start a new podcast with your other friends. I told you to get rid of your other friends.
Personal issues.
Claire, actually, me and Claire were discussing the new Fall Out Boy album, and she goes, some of my friends don't really like it. And I said, that's okay, you just don't have to be friends with them anymore.
And I was like, already blocked, like, obviously.
You don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
It is interesting, though, to hear other people's opinions on things, even if they're completely wrong.
Yes. So, if you like interesting polls... So I'm trying to do more interesting content on the Instagram page, but we do share little clips of like the podcast and us making the playlists, and it's mainly just us laughing.
Mainly us laughing or bopping along or singing along to something.
Singing something. It's all on our Instagram, so we are Foundations of Emo on Instagram, and we're on Twitter at Foundations Emo, and we have a TikTok account that we haven't posted anything on yet. We may.
I don't know how to use TikTok.
Me neither.
I wonder if Adam does. He's 47. Have I mentioned that?
So we are Foundations of Emo on TikTok with no content posted, but who knows? Maybe by the time you listen to this, there'll be something spicy on there.
It's also a bit reminiscent of DMGI, where we had like everything except the content.
All the social media. No songs.
So let us know what you think of this. Let us know your thoughts on Take Back Sunday, because they are just one of my originals and I love them so much. And if you don't like them, don't bother telling me. I don't want to hear it. So feck off.
Wow. Let's get rid of the listeners now, Claire. Now you've gotten rid of me. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.